Inaresto po ba si Senator Bato? Maiiba po yung bilang at maaaring magkaroon ulit ng botohan?
Well, you need 13 to become Senate President and yung Senate President pro tempore. So, siyempre, each vote counts sa mga bill, sa mga resolution, sa impeachment, di ba? Pero just removing him will not change the Senate President.
Ayun na nga ho mga kapatid, nilinaw na mismo nito si SP Alan Cayetano na kahit na mahuli o tanggalin si Senator Bato sa alam niyo na pagiging senador, hindi naman po impeachable ang senador mga kapatid. Pwede lang po siya i-expel. Katulad ho ngayon, tulad na ito sinabi ni Trilili mga kapatid. Basahin ho natin para mas malinawan ho tayo sa naging konteksto sa katanungan ho ni Miss Karen Dabilang. Ngayon po na pinatakas nila si Bato, ang first order of the day is magkaroon ng nationwide manhunt. Ngayon nagkinumpirma na ng DOJ na valid yung warrant gagalaw na itong si Secretary John Vigrimula at hahanapin siya. Nakaraang araw pa lamang ho itong si Trililing at si John Vic mga kapatid, nag-aaway ho yung dalawa niya. Bakit ho sila nag-aaway mga kapatid? Unang-una ho sa lahat sinabi nito si John Vic ni Trililing na nandiyan na daw ho sa si Bato sa Senado, hindi niya para ho hinuli. Kaya agad naman pong rumekta itong si John Vic Remula na may tatlong dahilan daw kaya may 3 taon daw na sunod-sunod mga kapatid, hindi daw ho nananalo yung si Trilling. Hindi ho pala 3 taon mga kapatid, kundi 3 termino na hindi nananalo itong si Trilling. Bakit to? Sinabi ho kasi ni John Vic mga kapatid na nauuna raw ho ang kayabangan ni Trilling. Yun pa lamang mga kapatid sa sinabi ni John Vic na 3 termino hindi nananalo si Trilling dahil sa kayabangan. Ito po yung kinapuputok ng ulo ni Trilling sa mga Duterte. Papaliwanag ho natin, ganyan ho kasi yan. Noong 2016 mga kapatid, kumakatok si Trilling dito sa ating former President Rodrigo Duterte na sabi niya gusto niyang maging Vice President mga kapatid. Gusto niyang maging Vice President ni Pangulong Duterte. Si Pangulong Duterte mga kapatid, nakakaamoy ho yan ng mga trapo. Nakakaamoy ho ng mga trapo kaya sinabi niya hindi ho siya kumbinsido, hindi ho siya payag na maging Vice Presidente ito si Trilling. Sinabi niya rin mga kapatid na pababa pa lang daw ho sa eroplano si Pangulong Duterte, papatumba niya na daw ho yan. Kasi nga naman gusto ni Trilling panigurado mag-take over bilang Presidente ng Pilipinas. Kaya simula noon, yung pagiging bitter na ito si Trilling sa mga Duterte, sa mga kaalyado ng Duterte mga kapatid, wala ho katumbas yan. Grabe ho yung pait na sinapit niya kasi nga ho nasupalpalhusan ng malala sa ating Pangulong Duterte. Diba? Kaya naman itong pagpapalitan ulit ng liderato, kailangan ng, narinig naman ho natin, ng 13 senators para magkapalitan. Kahit na mawala ho dyan si Senator Bato mga kapatid, hindi po siya pwedeng matanggal ng basta-basta. Kailangan pa rin ng 13 votes. Nakita naman na ho natin itong mga bilyar, sila Sen. Loren Legarda, kumakaligwas na ho, hindi na ho nagpapahawak ng leeg doon sa mga katulad nila Pinky, nila Hontivirus, kaya ito hong pag-uusapan natin dito sa ipapaliwanag ko ni Atty. Trixie mga kapatid, patungkol pa rin ho yan kay Senator Bato de la Rosa. Kaya nga din, kung bago lang ako sa ating channel, sa like and share, isang subscribe lang mga malagit tulad. Pasadahan na ho natin itong mga magiging payag nitong si Atty. Trixie patungkol sa nangyayari dyan sa Senado, sa Kongreso, lahat ho na pwedeng pag-usapan, atin ang tatalakayin. Kaya rekta na ho tayo.
61.64 as of right now, but it had arisen to about almost 2.7. So in 2 days straight, it has been a record low. So in other words, in the past 2 days alone, we set records for the lowest value of the peso in relation to the dollar, in the lowest in several decades. Meanwhile, extreme price increases have hit the country's staples. Rice inflation has surged 13.7% according to the Philippine Statistics Authority, while domestic transportation fares shot up by 21.4%. It had originally been higher. Because fuel costs are too high, fishermen are restricted from going out to sea, causing fish and vegetable shortages. Meanwhile, we're going through what appears to be an energy crisis and grid failures. Massive red and yellow grid alerts. The country has been experiencing massive red and yellow grid alerts, severe energy crisis during the peak of this summer heat. Simultaneously, the tripping of critical 500 kilovolt transmission lines such as the Dasmariñas Ilihan and Tayabas Ilihan lines were severed. Nearly 2,500 megawatts of power from the Luzon and Visayas grids. Meanwhile, widespread rotational brownouts are happening, which have hit more than 540,000 Meralco customers across Metro Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, Quezon, and Rizal. Civil groups and civic movements like the Power for People Coalition have publicly slammed the government for its total lack of long-term planning and continued over-reliance on a centralized pool of major imported fuel plants. Gasoline closures and fuel rationing risks. Hundreds of filling stations nationwide have temporarily closed due to a delay in petroleum shipments. This will continue for who knows how long, despite the Department of Energy's assurances that fuel supplies remain stable for the season. Business leaders continue to warn that fuel and power rationing may become unavoidable if structural dependencies are not addressed. So, sunod-sunod itong mga issues na to, and they have been rocking the country for, well, how many months? 4 or 5 months already. These are just the controversies in 2026. Now, my concern right now is its impact on the people. Sunod-sunod at tuloy-tuloy halos, this country ay hindi natatahimik ang bayan. Kumbaga, it has been one controversy after another over the span of nearly 5 months. Of course, these controversies have been building up over the years and in fact had become plainly obvious by 2024, 2 years into the Marcos administration. And what is the cause of all of this political turmoil? For most political observers, it appears, for many political observers, it appears that it is not merely the struggle between political parties or for dominance of these political parties, but rather what is emerging now as an attempt by the Marcos administration to extend its power beyond 2028. Ibig sabihin, ang sunod-sunod na kontrobersiya na nangyayari dito sa bansa, nagiging mas maliwanag ngayon na ang posibleng pinagmula ito ay na mag-extend ng power nila. Bakit natin nasasabi yun? Dahil nga lumalabas ngayon ay mayroong charter change na pinopropose ang ilang mga allies ng Marcos administration. So, why is this a problem? Because a continued exposure to various political turmoils, it's like having one catastrophe after another. If ikaw, isang individual, ay nakakaranas ng sunod-sunod na pagsubok, sunod-sunod na personal disasters, may epekto ito sa ating psychology. Hi kay Lucky Sprite. So, anong posibleng nararamdaman natin? Anong nangyayari? Ano yung psychological effects nito sa individual? Posibleng may chronic stress response. The brain interprets a constant stream of negative news or controversies as a direct threat, activating the body's stress systems and releasing cortisol and adrenaline even if there is no immediate or tangible danger. This also results in a feeling of helplessness and anxiety. Individuals often feel a deep sense of powerlessness, anxiety, anger, irritability. Sometimes there is cognitive decline. The constant fight or flight mode can lead to difficulty in concentration, memory issues, foggy thinking, and a reduction in the ability to process complex information. Emotional numbing. To survive the mental onslaught, people may become desensitized to negative information, including violence, corruption, including violence or corruption, which can lead to moral callousness. Of course, these are aside from the obvious mental health disorders that can result from this. Depression, panic disorders, and symptoms similar to PTSD. To a population, the effect is a normalization of chaos. People become used to the dysfunctional environment. Behavioral patterns change to prioritize personal safety or immediate needs over long-term societal goals. Erosion of trust, constant scandals, Barty, break down the psychological contract between people and their institutions, leading to widespread cynicism. Ano yung widespread cynicism? Explain natin yung mamaya. Ano yung mga examples nito? And the lack of faith in the future. Increased polarization, nakikita din natin yan. Collective trauma and anxiety. So, anong nangyayari? Nakikita natin, nakikita ko, base lang dito sa mga sa mga comments. Nasasanay ang mga tao, may mga normalization of chaos. Nasasanay yung mga tao sa magulo na environment, kaya ang ginagawa nila, pinaprioritize nila personal safety or immediate needs over long-term societal goals. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Ang ginagawa ng mga tao is salbahin ang sarili. Hindi muna makaka-participate o bumabawas ang participation dito sa mga social issues natin. Imbis na maghikayat o maging participatory or nagiging tumataas ang participation natin sa pagiging critical, na sumasali tayo sa mga movements to effect change, ang ginagawa is we become more individualistic, more concerned about personal safety rather than the concerns of the country. Nag-breakdown, may erosion of trust. Constant scandals break down the psychological contract between people and their institutions. In other words, hindi na tayo nagtitiwala sa mga institusyon. Napansin niyo yung constant use of the term bend the law. Ibig sabihin yan, cynical na tayo. Di na naniniwala ang maraming tao na ang mga institusyon ay that they continue to do, continue to do their jobs, continue to provide the services as expected of them. Institutions nga eh. So, regardless of what is going on, hindi na tayo naniniwala sa mga ganon. Particularly, many people have lost their faith or trust in the justice system. Maybe the system has changed, maybe it hasn't, but what has definitely changed is the lack of trust, the widespread cynicism. Yung mga nagsasabi parati na wala namang mangyayari dyan eh. Ay, gagawin lang naman nila ganito eh. Ay, magbebend the law lang naman sila eh. Which really is a very awful thing. I hope you understand that. That the moment you start feeling cynical, you lose faith in our ability to change things. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Nawawalan tayo ng tiwala na kaya pa natin baguhin ang lahat. Or even worse, may mga magsasabi na, saka na muna yung bayan, sarili ko muna sasalbahin ko, wait and see na lang ako. Increased polarization. So, ang nangyayari, ganito. Nagdidig in lahat ng mga sides, there is less interaction, less intention to understand our fellow man, our fellow countrymen, less ability for us to unite for a common cause. Collective trauma and anxiety. Remember, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, this is a trauma response. Pagka sasabihin na, wala namang ginagawa ang Korte Suprema. O kaya may nagsasabi na, hindi naman sila makikinig sa atin. Wala namang magbabago if we come together. Hindi naman nila papayagan na magkaroon ng pagbabago. Hindi, bibilin lang nila yung mga institusyon. Bibilin lang nila yung kalaban. Babayaran lang yung judge. So, and what happens when this happens? Kapag ganito yung nagiging response natin sa mga pangyayari, what happens is that most of us will no longer want things and will no longer participate in activities to make things change. So, nothing will change. Ito ay yung isang dahilan kung bakit ang administrasyon ngayon, wala silang pakialam kung anong iniisip natin. Sinasabi nila, yung kumbaga, nung una, meron pa silang pakialam. Kunwari, merong, di ba yung parating pagka may skandalo, pagka may kakulangan, ano ang parating ginagawa nila? Nagpapa-PR. Okay? It's always a press release, it's always a press gimmick, it's always something like that. But it is really only gimmicks. Ibig sabihin, there is no real change. Hindi nila talaga sinasagot yung problema, hindi nila nire-resolba. Halimbawa, mataas presyo ng pagkain, mataas ang presyo ng bigas. Parating ang panahon na maraming mga bayan, lalong-lalo na with the coming El Nino, maraming mga bayan na iniimportan natin ng bigas ay posibleng magiging less yung kanilang production. Dahil less ang production nila, mas maliit ang maaari natin ma-import sa kanila. And that means prices of rice, a basic staple in the country, will increase even more. And posibleng umabot yan sa punto na marami sa ating mga kababayan hindi na aabot o hindi nakakayanin ang pagbibili ng mga basic food requirements ng kanilang mga pamilya. So, in other words, ito ngayon ang nakikita natin sa Marcos administration. They are becoming less and less sensitive to public opinion. Tignan ninyo, halos harap-harapan nagsisinungaling na sila sa atin. Tignan ninyo yung nangyari sa Senado. Wala tayong nakikita na remorse. Wala tayong nakikita na, we apologize na ganito ang nangyari. Wala man lang apology for the outright and blatant lying that is going on. Sabi ng Pangulo, hindi mo na aarestuhin si Senator Bato. But, nagkaroon ng operation ng NBI, they still tried to enter the Senate, they still attempted to serve the warrant. Tapos nung nahuli na sila, nung nagkaroon na ng barilan o putukan sa Senado, anong sinabi ni Director Matibag? Wala po kami dyan, nasa opisina lang. But he also later on said that, hindi naman namin tao yung bumalik at nahuli ninyo. Driver lang namin. Volunteer driver lang namin. So, but does the administration care? Do they show embarrassment? Is anybody apologizing? No. They're just covering up for their personal liabilities, pero wala tayong nakikita na real change. Wala tayong nakikita any attempt to address the blatant falsehoods that are being foisted on the people. You know what's even worse? Pinagtatawanan nga natin, pero alam natin they're not going to do anything about it. And it makes us even more cynical. And it makes us less inclined to try to change things. So what is being created here is a vicious cycle. At sino ang nagbe-benefit pag tayo yung nadidemoralize? Pag tayo yung nawawala ng loob? Pag tayo po ay nagiging cynical at iniisip natin na walang mangyayari. Today alone, marami akong nakita na maraming messages sa akin of people who are feeling helpless and frustrated sa mga pangyayari. Parang lalong-lalo na sa balita ngayon na posibleng pagdating ng Monday, mag-a-attempt na naman ng Senate coup yung kabilang panig, yung minority. So in this weekend, today and in the next few following days, they will keep looking for vulnerable people in the majority na pwedeng takutin, pwedeng pangakuan, pwedeng mahikayat, mahatak dun sa side nila. On Monday, dapat magtutuloy na yung impeachment trial or maghahanda na ang Senado para sa darating na paglilitis sa impeachment ni Vice President Inday Sara. Pero kung magkaroon na naman ng agawang pwesto sa Senado, hindi yan matutuloy. Not only that, there is a big possibility na magtuloy-tuloy itong mga aksyon na ito. Agaw, agaw uli. Agaw, unseat uli. There will be bribes, there will be threats, there will be so much going on. But in the meantime, anong nangyayari? Hindi na re-resolve yung issues ng korupsyon. Hindi na re-resolve yung issue ng kakulangan ng fuel. Andito na tayo sa punto na nararamdaman na natin yung epekto ng sinabi ni Presidente Marcos at the start of the Iran war. Ay, wait and see muna tayo. Di ba parang ganun yung sagot niya? Tingnan natin, di pa naman tayo apektado eh. O di ba? Do you remember his reaction? Nagtatanong tayo, ano ang mga plano ng administrasyon? Hindi pa naman tayo naaapektuhan. Wait and see yung ginagawa nila. Because at the time, President Marcos strongly believed na ang US mananalo lang in a matter of days or even weeks. Mahaba na daw kung abuti ng buwan. Pero eto na po tayo. Diba? Eto na po tayo sa panahon ngayon na nagkaka-rotational brownouts. Hindi natin sinasabi na yung brownouts ay purely caused by the fuel shortage, but definitely is affected by it. Of course, na-overload din yung system. Of course, may mga naputol daw na transmission lines. Di ko sure kung totoo yon, but yun ang sinasabi nilang nangyayari ngayon. So, what are we going to do? Ano ang mangyayari? Sa tuloy-tuloy natin nakikitang controversies, marami sa atin, sa hanay natin, ang nahihinaan na naman ng loob. Lalong-lalo na after the short-lived yung tuwa natin na okay, yung mayorya na ngayon ang nakaupo sa Senado at ang mga taong ito will be the most the people that we can trust to at least give VP Inday a fair shake. Kumbaga, ito ang pagkakataon na madidinig ng buong buo ang panig ni VP Inday. Makukonsider yung evidence nila at huhusgahan ang pagkuha ng ebidensya kung ito ay naaayon sa batas. Sa ngayon, nanganganib na naman yan. Kumbaga, ang nangyayari ay highs and lows dun sa ating emosyon. So, si Tito Sen, nahihirapan tayong intindihin ang ilang mga desisyon. Nahihirapan tayo to make sense of a partial committee report na pinipilit ni Senator Lacson. Bakit? Kasi kung partial ay maisubmit na niya, then there is no pressure to finish off the Senate investigation at mahuli pa yung ibang mga posibleng sangkot dito. So anong nakikita natin? Nakikita natin massive corruption on a scale that is unheard of even in this country where nasasanay na tayo minsan dun sa korupsyon. Nakikita natin now the amounts are stratospheric. Now the loss of government services, of government infrastructure is so wide, so massive that healthcare now is again reduced to a joke. Government service is non-existent or very, very hugely affected. No, hindi natin sinasabi. That's not what we're saying, Zeph. And it's not even funny. Kumbaga, nag-i-impose sa atin, kumbaga, nasa-subject tayo to trauma after trauma after trauma. These Marcos Jr. years are turning out to be traumatic for us as a people. And this is one of the reasons kung bakit it took so long for us to remove Marcos Sr. himself. Because towards the end of his term, it was just trauma after trauma. It was just controversy after controversy. One oppression follows the other. Nakikita natin na nagpapayaman ang mga miyembro ng gobyerno, ng gobyernong Marcos, tuloy-tuloy yung mga oppressive acts, yung kawalan ng ability natin to exercise our rights. And it created a people who were either too scared to move or were concerned only for themselves. There's no concern for the country kasi takot. Kasi feeling ng marami is we are too weak and the government is too strong. Ito ang pinaka-sinyales ng trauma natin. Maraming nagsasabi na kawawa naman ang Pilipino. Victim ang tingin natin sa sarili natin. Victim with no capability of addressing the oppression, the continuing oppression on us. Diba? Walang ganon. Di natin nakikita. So ano yung nangyayari if we keep calling ourselves victims? If we keep saying, kawawa naman tayo, we're so api. We start to believe in our own helplessness. We start to believe that we have no capability to change things. When as a matter of fact, even in the past few years, we have been fighting. At yung laban na ito has been affecting the government, has been affecting the agents of our oppression. So, yun yung kumbaga, there is a vicious cycle because we are losing sight of the fact na after so many years, nagsusurvive pa si VP Inday. Ba? They have not succeeded in putting her away. They have not succeeded in putting her in jail. They have succeeded with President Duterte. But have they stopped us? Have they changed our mind? Hi, Aaron. Good morning. Diba? Why? Have they? Kasi ang tumatalo sa atin, hindi yung administrasyon. Ang tumatalo sa atin, sarili natin. When we stop having faith in our ability to change things. Yun po ang pinakamalaking concern ngayon dahil nakikita ko sa sunod-sunod na mga PM sa akin, sa sunod-sunod na mga komento sa akin, wala po akong nakikita. Ay, ang daming nagsasabi na kawawa naman ng Pilipinas. Wala na tayong magagawa. Masyado silang malakas. Babayaran lang nila ang whatever. Nasa kanila ang lahat ng power. What are these statements? They're self-fulfilling statements. Ibig sabihin, kung sasabihin natin yan, mangyayari yan. Kung sasabihin mong victim ka, magiging victim ka talaga. Kasi hindi ka nalalaban. Kasi hindi mo na makikita yung mga solusyon. So, bakit kailangan ipaalala? Check yourself. Tignan ninyo yung sinasabi ninyo. Yung tuloy-tuloy ninyong pinagagamit yung term na bend the law. Ini-encourage ninyo yung administrasyon kasi for you, you have normalized it. Pag sinabi nyong ay bend the law lang naman sila, tinanggap na natin yung ginagawa nila. That is a crime. It is possible na hindi pa natin sila mahuli, hindi pa natin mailagay sila sa tamang lulugaran nila, which is behind bars. Posible po yun na hindi pa natin nagagawa. Pero it doesn't mean wala tayong power. Tignan ninyo yung mga kaso na final ng iba't ibang mga kababayan natin. At yung ibang mga kaso na yon ay galing nga dun sa kabilang partido. Ibig sabihin, the Supreme Court has come up with decisions that have in fact helped us. In the 19th Congress, nabigo sila sa pagpapa-impeach kay VP Inday. Kung na-impeach nila in the 19th Congress pa lang, baka ngayon pa lang wala na tayong Inday Sara. Diba? Sa ngayon, she would be facing criminal charges and the very real possibility that she would be put behind bars. Pero hindi yun nangyari. Nag-insist ang Supreme Court on due process. Yes, na-impeach siya ngayon. But there are still things that are pending with the Supreme Court that could change the tide of things. Ang dami pang pwedeng mangyari, but ang ginagawa ng Marcos administration, kaya nga po sila hindi na nag-a-apologize sa mga mali, kaya pinapakita nila yung lakas at dahas nila is to demoralize us and make us lose faith in ourselves and in our capability to address these things. And also, it forces us to come up with excuses for why we're not moving. Yung mga, hati-hati tayo. Bakit? Hindi ba tayo pwedeng yung hati-hati na yan, that's within our power. Hindi yan ginawa sa atin. That is not something that the Marcos administration can be blamed for. We are doing that to ourselves. So pag sinabi ninyo, kasi hati-hati tayo, you're making excuses. Diba? O kaya nga, itinayo yung Rage Coalition. Take note of the term, coalition. Do not forget this, that there are people who are moving. And what are they doing? What is Rage doing? It's bringing people together because united we stand. But if you will not participate in group activities, if you do not believe that you will be able to bring about change, then it's self-defeating. Kumbaga, kinukumbinsin nyo lang yung sarili ninyo na mayroong dahilan why we are failing and you are embracing that failure. But that is something na ginagawa sa atin. Kasi sunod-sunod ang kontrobersiya. Sunod-sunod yung kanilang pinapakita sa atin. Hindi po aksidente yung mga excuse me, hindi po aksidente yung mga designer clothes, Hindi po aksidente yung mga pinapakita nila openly yung paggamit ng dahas. They're really showing that to us. Parang pinapakita nila, wagi sila. Hindi totoo yan. Paano sila magwawagi? Hindi pa tapos ang laban. So here's the thing. Do you know how to get out of that depression? You know how to get out of that feeling victim, on a daily basis? You know how to prevent the intimidation or how to not feel intimidated? You band together. You join groups. You participate. There are various groups that have joined the RAGE Coalition. RAGE so far is accepting groups. Kumbaga, may mga grupo like Para sa Bayan, of which I am still hopefully an active member. There are groups like Maisug. So, there are groups that, may mga SARA groups. May mga groups that were formed as early as the campaign for PRD. So, yun. I'm not here to listen to your trauma responses anymore. I will not baby anybody who wants to victimize themselves. I am here to encourage you. If you want to get out of that funk, if you want to get out of the dire straits that we are in, that this country is in, if we want to win, then we're going to have to start forming groups. Then we are going to have to start banding together. Then we are going to have to start to set aside personal differences and just keep forging on. I'm not asking everybody to be everybody's best friend. That's impossible. But at the very least, we can focus. Now is the time that VP Inday needs to see your enthusiasm. Now is the time that we must bolster her. Isipin ninyo, no matter how badly you feel, you have to understand that VP Inday feels it like 100 million times more. Siya yung ini-impeach. Siya yung araw-araw na binabalahura, both by mainstream media and by the trolls on social media. Her family is raked over the coals. Her brothers have to stand up, and they have, but they too are undergoing almost the same kind of excoriation that the vice president is going through. Every day, she will see all of these awful and evil things they're saying about her. So if you feel depressed, just think, she is going through a lot more. But I don't want to shame your feelings. Valid yung feelings ninyo. Totoo naman may dahas, totoo naman may oppression, at totoo din naman na walang serbisyo o konting-konti ang serbisyo na dinulot sa atin ng administrasyong ito. Totoo yan. At hindi po fake yung nararamdaman ninyo. Totoo din yan. Kailangan natin i-acknowledge yan. But like we always say, you're human. Dadaan tayo sa mga ganyan. Dadaan tayo dun sa mga panahon na parang ang sama-sama ng pakiramdam natin. Parang, Senate ko na naman? Parang ganon. Di na naman tayo makahinga para bago malaman natin kung ano yung resulta ng mga yon? Di ba? Of course, we're frustrated. Of course, we feel every single bit of pain. Because, of course, we feel na tinatakot nila tayo. They threaten us on a daily basis with allegations of fake news, with calling you to Congress or filing cases against you. Yes, we feel all of that. But in order for us to be able to have a fighting chance, we have to believe that we do have that fighting chance. That's where it starts. So, understand this. If we're in a fight for our very existence and survival as a country, we have to believe that we're going to win. Because otherwise, what is the point in this whole thing? Sabi ni Well Falks, how could I contribute when I live abroad? I'm not dual. Madali lang po mag-apply ng dual citizenship so that you can vote. Actually, the act of voting is by itself one of the biggest acts that we can do to bring about change. Yung boto ninyo, mahalaga yan. Diba? Remember, ang mga trolls, walang boto. Okay? Diba? No matter how many there are, kung kunwari, ang isang troll, 10 ang cellphone niya, iisa pa rin lang ang boto niya. And remember this also. In 2016, during the campaign period, at the start of the campaign period, the odds were against Rodrigo Duterte. Who put him in Malacanang? That's you and me. We put him there. Who put Vice President Sara Duterte in the vice presidential seat? Diba tayo din yun? So, in the darkest times, we must hold on, even to the slimmest hope. In the darkest days, tandaan ninyo, kahit noon ang Katipunan, hindi sila kaagad na nanalo. In fact, many of the battles led by Bonifacio himself were debacles. Hindi talaga sila nanalo nung umpisa. Because what were they up against? They were up against the colonial power. But who stood up during that time? Ordinary people like you and me. Tumaya sila, not to gain power, but to gain the right for self-governance. Yun ang hinahabol nila. The right for Filipinos to govern themselves. It wasn't about, occupying positions of power. It wasn't about that. For us, we're simply seeking an end to the oppression, a return to true service rendered by the government. Napakasimple ng pangarap natin. Pero napakahalaga. Hindi lang para sa atin, para sa mga anak natin, sa mga apo natin. Ngayon, sabi ni MJ Summers, at sinong nag-flash ng 8 diretso sa Inidoro? Di ba tayo rin yun? Marami tayong nagawa. Keep holding on, keep fighting, and keep standing together. Again, I'm not saying that we have to be best friends with each other. In many instances, we will not get to know every single DDS in this country. But we can keep standing together. We can set aside personal ambitions, personal hurts. We can set aside differences. We can keep fighting. We don't know. You can ask me things like, mapapalitan ba si Cayetano? Magbabago ba yun? Wala po akong bolang kristal. Hindi ko pa po alam kung mag-hold together yung 13. Kung magbabago ba yung 13, hindi natin alam. Kasi kinukuyog sila ngayon. Naghahanap ang mga administration-aligned senators ng mga vulnerabilities dun sa 13. We have to protect the 13. We have to bolster their confidence to hang on. And we need to expose yung mga nasa kabilang panig na gustong pahinain ang loob ng 13. That is something concrete that we can do. That is something that we can control our own actions to help bolster the confidence of our 13 senators. who form the new majority. And in the next few weeks, ano ba naman yung we set aside yung mga ano mga little differences between each other? Sabi ni Napi Boy, I've noticed since the change in the Senate leadership, grabe ang aggressive ng mga trolls, MSM, officials, artists, legal luminaries, lahat pati yung simbahan nag-push ng narrative. And why are they doing that? Unang-una ang konti nila compared to us. We remain the biggest voting bloc that is immovable, practically immovable. Proven yan, 2016, 2019, 2022, 2025. Konti lang ang nakakalusot sa atin, but in 2019, 8 diretso. So that's why they're aggressive. So take heart. Sometimes, the bad things that we see, yan, yung aggression ng mga trolls, yung aggression ng flood media, ng mainstream media, to change the narrative. Diba? Bakit ginagamit nila yung term na escape pagdating kay Senator Bato? Bakit escape? Di naman siya nakakulong. Bakit escape? Hindi naman siya under detention. And hello, protective custody doesn't mean that he is in jail. Ano ba? Kasi kung nire-restrict yung kanyang freedom, arbitrary detention yun. Wala naman krimen, wala namang basihan. Hindi naman siya in contempt of the Senate. In fact, ang mga in contempt, yung NBI. Tignan niyo yung tanong, sabi ni Jade, if the minority declares all Senate seats vacant on Monday, how can the minority declare anything but lacks the numbers while the majority only has 12? It's status quo. You have to overturn a status quo. A minority cannot overturn that. If there is no result in the voting, then it is status quo. So all we have to do is actually have the 13 or the 12 hold on. Because ilan sila? Without Senator Bato, what is a majority? Diba? Magiging, instead of 24, 23, what is 1/2 of 23? 12.5. They're not going to get a majority. Diba? Kung 11 lang sila at 12 yung without Senator Bato, 12 yung mayorya, wala silang ma-overturn. The status quo will hold. Yun, sabi ni Wilmark, mukhang plano talaga nila i-agitate lagi ang mga tao. Or, maybe hindi nila plano, but they're letting it happen and they realize what is going on. In other words, ay may mali, ay may palpak, ay nabisto yung mga nakawan, ay tuloy-tuloy ang nakawan. They pretend to be doing something about it to save face and maybe to have mainstream record it in history, but we know the truth. Sabi ni Renan, yes, SP Cayetano pa rin ang uupo pag status quo ang nangyayari. So, if walang mabawas dun sa 12, even without Senator Bato, 12 is going to be the majority because 11 lang ang maiiwan. Kahit bumoto lahat ng 11 to declare all the seats vacant, 12 ang nasa mayorya. So mayorya pa rin sila. 'Di ba? So, we'll take on a few questions kasi medyo malalim na yung gabi. Para dun sa mga nandito sa TikTok, huwag pong kakalimutan, mayroon po tayong gift goals. And tap, tap, tap naman po para tuloy-tuloy. Sabi ni 28, school bukol, di makamove on eh. Actually, ayon dun sa mga umiikot na balita, gusto niya na siya makaupo uli. Pero mukhang ang challenger ay si Mig Zubiri daw. Yun, sabi ni The Red Comet Project, isa din po, let's remind ourselves that we don't have to agree with everything with each other. As long as we agree in the main goal, that is to put a Duterte back where they belong. Yun, tama po yan. Yon, sabi ni Jitterbug, now tinatarget nila sina Sen Robin at Cayetano na persons of interest daw. They're trying to reduce the numbers of the majority. Good luck with that. Paano magiging persons of interest ang mga ito? Ano yung crime? Walang warrant, walang local warrant, walang even with a warrant from the ICC, that's still up in the air. That can still be challenged. And in fact, the Marcos administration saying that there's 72 hours given by the Supreme Court, they will respect that, is an admission that even they understand that the court has to make a ruling to clarify the situation. Bakit JV and Zubiri chose to be independent instead of joining Soto? To keep their options open. Kasi, remember, Senator Zubiri does not get along with Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. So, he would not place himself in the same group as Senator Cayetano. Christine Joy Cabuñas, meron pong spokes kanina. Ang guest namin si Attorney Ed Chico. So, medyo fake news po yan. Sabi ni Dean Cruz, I know JV and Zubiri will side with VP Sara Duterte in the end. I suppose they will. Sabi ni EJ Osmeña, how about investigating Tito Soto? Allegedly had prior knowledge of the warrant from ICC as NBI coordinated with him earlier that day. Kung gigipitin nilang ni majority block, the latter can do the same. Hindi po clear yan. Ano yung sinasabi ninyong ipanggigipit kay Senator Soto? Metalingus Balor says, sabi ng kabilang parlor, it took a people power to remove Marcos from the palace and I'm like, be careful what you wish for. Don't poke the bear. Good one. Hi kay Ian Paul, maraming salamat po sa inyong suporta sa amin. Thank you kay Iceberg. Sabi niya, praying that JV or Zubiri will join the majority come Monday. Actually, ang sa akin, if the 12 hold on, we don't have to worry. However, yun nga, tandaan po ninyo, kukuyugin yung 12 na yon. They will be looking for vulnerable senators who might be convinced to shift to the minority. Hindi nila tatantanan yung mga yan. And there will be threats. There'll be threats of cases, of, I don't know, embarrassing incidents, whatever. They'll keep doing that. They'll keep poking. Wala akong sinasabing ganun. Sabi ni Ira, bakit puro diverting attention ng gobyerno? Ano ba bad news kay BBM? Wala po akong sinabing ganun. The administration itself is just full of bad news, but I don't subscribe to the constant belief that every comm strategy or every bad thing that happens is merely a diversionary tactic. Come on. Kung iisa lang talaga ang taktika ng gobyerno, bakit di pa rin sila natatalo? Come on. Sabi ni Kimada, pray always that whatever happens, the country will stay safe. Sabi ni Irene, yun ang sabi, giipit ay nawala. Okay, now dun sa mga nagtatanong kung magagawa ba ni OMB Boying Remulla yung biglang pagsuspindi kay Sergeant at Arms. Let's begin to explain that one. Base dun sa batas ng sa pag-form ng ombudsman, maaaring this is a preventive suspension. Yes, maaaring mag-preventive suspension ng up to 6 months ang ombudsman. Pero, dapat undergoing investigation na siya. Hindi ka basta pwedeng magsuspindi ng isang tao na hindi pa man lang iniimbestigahan. Hindi siya undergoing any kind of process with the ombudsman. So, ang gusto kong malaman is, naka-file na ba? May reklamo na ba? Laban kay General Ablasca. If not, ano yung basis o power ng ombudsman to preventively suspend the general or the former general? Sabi ni Alan, meron ako idea, hindi ko alam kung pwede ba siya gamitin sa change of leadership. Example, mag-call ang minority to call all the seats vacant sa Lunes. Pwede ba join yung current 13 sa minority to become ulit? Mag-call ang minority to call all the seats vacant sa Lunes. Bakit magjo-join yung minority sa majority or vice versa? Bakit po nila gagawin yun? Magkaroon po ba sa investigation Senate siege? Sino po mag-conduct? Law enforcers. Not the NBI. It has to be another one. Pwedeng PNP. Kasi SOCO na nga ang pinatawag eh. May armadong grupo na papasok sa Senate na walang coordination. Anong gagawin ng nagbabantay? Sasabihin, welcome. Ewan ko ayan na naman kayo sa Bendalo. Bakit nyo ba tinatawag? Bakit nyo ba ginagamit yung term na yun? Do you understand yung effect ng paggamit ng term na yun?